Are the Houston Texans just might have stolen the NFL draft? Now the training camp's going, pads are on. We can confidently look at some players out there and be like, yep, that guy's going to be an NFL pro and he's going to fit in and he's going to excel. So we'll talk all about it. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel covering teams and stories that don't get the love nationally like they should. Just kind of under the radar stuff. Being Detroit Lions fans, I mean, we've been used to that where we just kind of got ignored for so many years. I feel like Houston Texans and the Lions are kind of similar. They actually get an attention, but maybe not as enough, maybe not as much as they should. So let's take a look at this. And before we get started, let me know your favorite Houston Texan of all time. We did this a couple months back. It was kind of fun. You can look in the comments. It can't be like a super obvious one. You know, it can't be, I guess you could do Andre Johnson or, like Arian Foster. Give it to me. But by the way, like, let me know, help me out. What the heck was wrong with Brian Cushing? Like, Texans fans, was he crazy or what? Like, he's up there in the Romanowski realm of like crazy. So I feel like he was way crazy. Like, do you remember? Just tell me your thoughts on him. Dude was crazy. Just from an outsider, like I'm not a Texans fan, so I'm not watching every single game, but I'm watching this guy and I'm like, what the heck? I'm scared. I'm a little nervous. All right. Remember, here's the draft. Kamari Lasser, round 2. Remember, the Texans did a trade where they traded back, lost a 1 to the Vikings, and it was like a little bit like, why did we just do this? I don't like it. Are we good? Picked up more picks, but ultimately lost the first round pick, so you're a little concerned. Well, so for that to work, Blake Fisher and Kamari Lasseter have to be home runs. They just do, because you're betting on yourself, because you got rid of a first, and now you got a hit on both of these guys. So Kamari Lasseter, here he is, and you're like, this guy's got to be there. Lasseter continues to impress his coaches and live up to his locksmith nickname. So John McClain, a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, is in his 48th year of covering the NFL, including 45 seasons at the Houston Chronicle. So 45 years of watching players. I mean, I don't go to training camp and sit on ground level and watch these players. I wouldn't have a very good eye of like, oh, that guy looks like it's going to be hard. But if you've done it for 45 years, you can tell. So when head coach D'Amico Ryans was preparing for the draft, he wanted to talk to other players about prospects. He loves doing that. And then he'd bring in 30 players for visits. Corner from Georgia, Kamari Lasseter, was prospect that Ryans liked leading up to this year's draft. The more tape he watched, he's a natural talent. So what kind of scouting report did Lasseter's teammates and opponents provide to Ryans? Glowing, just glowing. So here's what's interesting about that. If you've been watching the Giants Hard Knocks in season, they did the same thing. They asked Nick Saban, who gives you those problems? He said Malik Neighbors. They draft Neighbors. They kind of go off that. The Giants are a mess, by the way, in that whole thing. It's shocking. And if you're a Texans fan or a Lions fan, you should be really encouraged and like enjoy watching that, because it's like the Giants they have no idea what they're doing. It would literally be like if I was running the team. And I mean that being like, I'm just kind of a fan. I'm just kind of it's like Madden. Like, I think we'll add this guy. I think we're gonna add this guy or get rid of this guy. Anyway, Giants are terrible. Can't stand them. Okay. So armed with those glowing reports, they go on, they finally pick him up. Everything has been positive with Kamari. And this is what he's been doing in training camp. He's exactly the guy we saw from the Georgia film. He's dialed in. People call him dog. He's just a dog. Just remember that Georgia tape and how physical he was when he came to tackling. Encouraged with where he is, starting out such a young career and where he is right now in training camp. I think he'll continue to ascend and get better. So you nailed the draft. If this guy turns out, then it means you've got a first round talent at corner, very hard to find in the second round. And you were able to pick up other picks to go get Blake Fisher, to go get a good sized Bullock, a safety, Cade Stover. What if he works out? And then so that's your first 4. It doesn't even matter about these guys, but if these 4 can pan out, let's go. I mean, what are we doing? So the coaches love his intangibles, competitiveness, intelligence, physicality, instinct, hard worker. He's a winner, a dog mentality, demeanor, locked in. I mean, all these things are like, what in the world? And I think for me, it's just like at the end of the day, he played for one of the top colleges and excelled, and they played in big games against big opponents and big atmospheres. Like that just has to matter. I I am just so against. I mean, there's your one-offs that you get from North Dakota State, but man, if you can get a Georgia player that was a top of their team during their run here with 2021, 22, 23, 24, where they were just like rolling. You kidding me? Like this guy is unbelievable. So I love what is being said about him, and I think it's gonna be crazy to see how well he plays. Now, speaking of that, you can go to the Hall of Fame game. 5 Texans players to watch against the Bears. Thursday night will mark the end of a long national nightmare for many fans as they return to the TV. Kind of. Okay, here are the players that we got to keep a watch on. Cade Stover. I'm an interesting thought on Cade Stover. I'm a Michigan fan. I watched Cade Stover only against Michigan, and he didn't do well. So he just didn't do well. So it's like, all right, does he suck? Or he's not terrible. He had bad games against Michigan. And so let's go, Cade Stover. Are you fast or are you slow? Do you have good hands or not? This is why he's on here to watch. Let me see something. That's where you're at if you're with him. DP and Cam Akers. Where are we at with the running backs? We'll group these backs together for their competitive carries behind Mixon. This is really interesting because you've got Mixon, who it's like, he's good. Well, yeah. Is he older? I think he's good, but I don't know. Damian Pierce, like you were good, but are you? And then Cam Akers, injury. There's a lot of question marks at running back in a team that really needs a running back because the offensive line's good. You've got the quarterback. You've got weapons on the outside. Gotta have the running back. So that is a good one to be watching. Kenyon Green. I mean, here it is. The 2022 first round pick is looking to kickstart his NFL career after a poor rookie year. Again, when we look at teams and you look at teams like the Texans, like the Lions, who want to be Super Bowl contenders, be in that group, you got your star players. They got to play well. You got quarterbacks have to play well. There's all these things that have to go on. But then if you really want to make that move, it's these guys. Everyone's talking about the new guys or the new free agents. But what about the guys that are been here going from first year to second year to third year? Can you make a really big jump? Can you be a really good depth piece? There's a lot of that stuff that doesn't go noticed and is going to be a little less of a headliner that's got to be there. So it says it right here. Houston's weapons are in question. Done. Whether Green and the offensive line can keep Stroud upright is critical. It's like, can the offensive line take a step forward and be good? And now the offense is unstoppable. Let's go. All right, here's our guy, Kamari Lasser. Lassiter is the second round pick. He's loved by Ryans early in camp. He's not the largest corner at 6 foot 200 pounds, but he's a willing tackler and somebody that could be a big part of this team because he can go opposite of Derek Stingley Jr. and really complete the defense. So that's going to be huge. And then here we go. I love this. Jeff Okudah and CJ Henderson. Lots been talked about them. Who's gonna win this? Jeff Okudah, you could make the argument could. He's a third overall pick to Lions. Lions were weird. He gets traded. He goes to another team. He gets injured. It's just like he's had a mumble jumble of a career so far. What if he could just step up and he takes it and love it? Or CJ Henderson. Whoever wins this is going to be good. That's if both guys are playing well. We'll see. So again, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. I think the draft went really well. You added key pieces. You've got a quarterback. You've got the coach heading in the right direction. Everything looks good if you're a Texans fan. But can the team, 53 men, come together? Right now it's at 90. Going to whittle that down to 53. Is that depth there? Is everything there that you need in order to play well and do things that you hope go well? So let me know your thoughts. If you could just tell me about Brian Cushing and what's wrong with that guy. I would love that. I love him. just think he's crazy. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see all of you on the next